Hello, my friends. Thank you for supporting Ukraine and trusting my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, this is best time to do it. Today, we will talk with you about what are reasonable expectations for Ukraine's upcoming counteroffensive. I want us to have realistic expectations from the counteroffensive. All of us Ukrainians want Ukrainian forces to free the land out of Russians as soon as possible. I know all of you want this war to be ended as well. I know the ideal picture we can imagine is that Ukrainian forces free Ukrainian land in a couple of months and Russia stops the war. Unfortunately, my suggestion is that this is all unrealistic in the coming months. So let's find why it is unrealistic and try to predict what can happen next. To ensure I can analyze correctly, I need to have at least two tables: losses of Ukraine and supply chain from the democratic countries to Ukrainian front line. I mean, supply chain of military equipment. Of course, both of the data sheets are secret and will be closed to the public at least till the end of the war and maybe even much longer. So I'll just share with you, my friends, my feelings and guesses of what is going on. In one of the Ukrainian vlogs, I've heard Ukraine has lost in the Russian-Ukrainian war more than 300 tanks from Ukrainian side. So to keep the front line stable and perform counter-offensive operations, Ukrainians need to compensate for those losses, 300 tanks, with the other tanks or different alternative equipment. Let's see how many tank supplies have been done by the democratic countries. So Poland alone sent to Ukraine in 2022 250 old Soviet but still working good condition T-72 Soviet Union tanks. So they are quite old but still in working condition. And promised on January 23, 2023, 60 more T-72 but modernized tanks and 14 German Leopards, highly likely first generation. It means that they are also old guys. This is the biggest supports with the tanks that I know. So probably it helped more or less to compensate Ukrainian losses with the tanks in the war. Do you remember? Ukraine lost more than 300 tanks during the year. But to provide large counter-offensive operations, Ukraine needs to have at least twice more, and these supplies have not been done yet. We have heard 8 tanks from Canada, 10 infantry fighting vehicle from Great Britain, HIMARSes from the US, aircrafts from Slovakia. There were tens of thousands of new Ukrainian soldiers trained by NATO countries. Now at the front line, we have approximately 300,000 of the Ukrainian soldiers. And in my guess, I have a number of 50,000 new trained guys. So it will increase Ukrainian power for approximately 20%, and it can make an advantage compared to Russians in a local, some probably 20% area of the front line. Next, let's try to find this 20% of the front line on a realistic map. So this is a realistic map of fights that are ongoing. The front line comes from here on south, and finished here on north or northeast, as you wish. Probably you can see the biggest groups of forces of Russian, and both Ukrainian forces are here and here. It is Donetsk and Luhansk districts or oblasts. Also, we have some fights here in Kherson region, but we have a very wide Dnipro River that in some places it can be wider than 1 kilometer. So it will be quite hard to make counteroffensive operations. So I'm not considering this part of the map. I'm considering from here to here. And if we have 20% of the forces, then we can say it can be some part. What is 20% here? Who can tell me? This part, all this part, maybe here, or even here. So these are my guesses. If you ask me, I would do this way. Accumulate forces here. Try to tell Russians that they will that Ukrainian forces will go inside of Russia, but instead of that, move them from here southeast this way until Luhansk. So this large group will be rounded or almost rounded, and they will have just one road that is not under Ukrainian fight or under Ukrainian weapons. So this road will be easily shooted, and that's all. This will be finished for Russians in Donbas area. They will almost lost communication with Russia, just probably this and these two roads, the communication to Crimea. What do you think, guys? Drop your message in the comments down below. So as you can see, this can be a local step to perform liberation of the Ukrainian territory. But it is not just a local thing. Morally, Russians may be exhausted. First of all, elites who will understand they just lose money with the support of the war. Elites, I mean Russian elites. So they can start avoiding supporting the war unofficially as much as they can. Secondly, there are more chances China will not support Russia, as they'll see no reason to support the one losing. The head of the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Kyrylo Budanov, said that on March 31 of this year, another attempt Russian offensive failed. On March 31st, they were supposed to enter the administrative borders of Donetsk and Luhansk regions. Again, this is not even the fifth failed attempt. As for now, there is no offensive potential for a strategic offensive operation in Russia, and there will not be in the near future. In simple words, Russia will not be able to do a strategic level counter-offensive operation. But I think I'm not just, so Russia has moved to a strategic defense operation. Their task is to hold all captured territories, disrupting our offensive operation to liberate them. According to Budanov, The exceptions are two districts, the attempt to seize Bakhmut and the attempt to surround Avdiivka from the north, and everything else, the line front is just standing. But I think I'm not just one guessing things like this. I mean, Russians know and expect these counteroffensive actions, so they are preparing not only from the military side on the whole front line, but what is more important, on the political field. Thus, Russian government will be involved in preparation to save Putin's power inside Russia, because all the government members of Russia are involved in corruption and criminal schemes and want to keep their power and money as well. Like it was before, when Ukrainians were liberating Kyiv or Kherson and many more districts, Russians will explain their escape with something like a gesture of goodwill for reconciliation and ask again Ukrainians and the world to sign an agreement to stop the war and let them manage occupied territories. And this is just the next line. Russians just need time to accumulate their military power, repair tanks, construct new bombs, and start new wars with Ukraine and other countries. The first step they can take to stop the war, leave all Ukrainian territories, Crimea, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson districts. The second step, change their government and policy. With the help of international organization, start demilitarization of Russia, so none of the neighbors could be attacked anymore. Thirdly, pay reparations to many countries. First of all, to Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova, Syria, for the occupation of these countries. I'm very grateful to everyone who read or seen this movie until this moment. Thank you for supporting Ukraine and Ukrainians. To know more, ask me questions down below the video. I invite you to join my YouTube channel. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.